After probably one of the worst debates I've ever seen, heard about, I wondered, I said, well, how are the Democrats going to respond to this? And not to my surprise, they're going to act like it didn't even happen. You see Kamala Harris and Taraji Henson sitting there talking about they not like us, some rap song that they're rapping. And hey, I'm glad Seven Seal here is here. By the way, I hope you join the panel if you have time. So they're talking about a rap song. You know, they're not like us, and the real HU. And Kamala Harris is out here in these streets. These people will vote for anybody, anybody. It doesn't really matter. They've just shown you. And so that's kind of one of the reasons why I've gotten to the point where, like, does voting really matter anymore? These people have a legion, a cult-like following, that no matter who is the nominee, they're going to vote for him. And so I was going to start off today's show about real estate and should you hire a real estate agent. And I had a pretty good story about that because I just sold a house recently. And I wish I hadn't hired an agent because I basically sold the house myself. As many things are in life, if you really want something done and done with your best interest in mind, you have to do it yourself. And that's what I had to do with the real estate agent. So I wanted to talk about that. But since this topic was kind of top of mind with the Joe Biden disaster, I wanted to kind of touch on a couple of things and how I think the Democrats are going to respond. And I'm going to tell you a story. A good buddy of mine who is good friends with people that are politically connected here in this city, he sent an email to one of his buddies, got it kind of as a mouthpiece for the Democrat organ. And the guy wrote him back. He says, Joe Biden had a cold that night. And I said, well, I'd be damned. Is that what they're going with? And so I'm going to show you another video. You see these blacks out here really shilling hard. And it's really kind of sad when you think about it. So let me show you another video here. Where is this one? This is here. This is James Clyburn. He's the one I would probably say is responsible for giving us Biden. And I want you to hear what he has to say here. Very interesting. Let's see here. I have it queued up. Oh, let me make sure I'm sharing the proper screen here. Oh, I am. All right. Perfect. Make sure I had the volume up.
I would say to them, take into account the record. Yes, it was a bad performance. I've been around these things. I've been a part of debate preparation before, and I know what when I see what I call preparation overload. And that's exactly what was going on the other night. I saw Joe Biden grabbing for words and phrases and even numbers that he was loaded up with. The next day, he gets to North Carolina. He's freewheeling, and he captivated the audience. And that's what we should do. The debate preparation can be tough, but you got to really do a good job of preparing the candidate, not just with information, but with style, with deflection, and the kinds of things.
That's enough of that. So as we can hear, he's saying that basically Joe Biden was over-prepared. I mean, as I've said for quite a while now, the excuses and things like that we're going to hear from people are going to get more and more extreme. Because once you can't justify it, you can't justify that behavior. Then the only thing you can do now is double down. And I want you to see some of the double downing that the Democrats have been putting into place. And before I get there, and again, as I keep telling you, the things are going to get more and more extreme. So I want to show you some of the more extreme things. You heard Kamala and what's her name? Taraji, basically saying, hey, you know, we have the right to love who we love. And it got me to thinking that this is kind of what I thought here. Is that right now what these people have is kind of a mental illness, the intersection where they have the LGBT and they have the BIPOCs, the blacks and indigenous people of color, whatever the hell they are. And then they have what I would call a feeder system. And I wouldn't even just say college students. I would say everyone, all the students, all the way down to elementary. Any child is more or less a feeder into one or two of these groups. You know, you have to, if they're black, they can be black and LGBT, and they really have the big joker in life. Or they could be white and gay, or they could be white and trans or whatever. But all of it seems to me, starts with the feeder system of getting these kids indoctrinated and getting the parents to accept it. And so you see someone like Kamala Harris talking about we have the right to love who we love. Is anyone at this point feeling like they don't have the right to love who they want to love? It's not even up for debate now, but still they keep making an issue out of it. And so since they always talk about the right to love who they want to love, let me show you how they love so freely. And I don't think that this is what most Americans are, were bargaining for when we agreed to, or when we were basically bullied to go along with these type of things. So let me share that for you. And I'm sure I have that queued up here. So let me cue that up. Here we are. And so this is San Francisco. This is Pride Month. So if you're a Democrat and you think you're not voting for this, I would say this is pretty much all you're voting for. These are the people that are leading the domestic agenda here. It's not about jobs. It's not about education for these people. This is pure indoctrination. And if you don't believe me, my words, I want you to listen to his words. And then when you take this back to the people that vote Democrat and you ask them, how do they reconcile their votes with this? And they don't have to. They don't. There's no need for them to make sense of this. They just blindly vote Democrat. So let's watch this video. And you remember that many people that vote Democrat have children. And so you have to say, is this what they were voting for? This is the most democratic city in the country. This city should be a representative of all the ideals that you vote for if you're a Democrat. And here you go.
They just happen to be there.
But it's okay for you to do this in front of kids? You're comfortable with that? You think that's something they should see?
A lot of people are doing it.
So it just makes it okay?
But it's part. It's local. It's legal. Okay.
Honey, it is.
This man is buck naked, by the way. And I want you to listen closely to the conversation. And there's going to be a lady squawking in the background. I want you to hear her as well.
Natural, honey.
I'm asking him a question, not you.
So I'm his friend. So look, it is natural to be who you are and what you are. And look, you see all this? And it's love always wins.
So it always wins. So you can just be
Yes.
naked in front of kids, try
Yes.
to talk to kids.
Exactly.
You don't think that's weird? You don't find anything wrong with that?
No.
I'm not talking to kids. They just happen to be there.
They just
It
have you're on the
doesn't
front
matter.
row with your dick out. in
It
front of
doesn't
little
matter.
kids. You got kids right here. Literally one over next to you.
Well, I didn't notice that.
But you've been waving. Literally, when the Boy Scouts of America came by, you're sitting there waving at them.
I'm waving at everybody, not just them. They just happen to be there.
But so you just think it's fine for nudity in front of kids?
If there's
Did you hear that woman? He's not the only one naked. Probably a white liberal woman. You can hear her in the background.
there's nothing, as long as you're not doing anything, there's nothing wrong with that.
Look at him.
Not sexual.
She's saying, look at him. She's pointing to someone else that's naked. Again, it's the most liberal, most democratic city in the world. Well, at least in the country. And this is what they want. This is their bully pulpit to force all their values on everyone. And the people that vote Democrat, for whatever reason, I'm not sure. And I'm not telling you to vote for Trump. I'm just questioning, how do you reconcile the vote for something like this, particularly when it goes against most people's values, and yet they do anyway. So it's very interesting to me. And then I saw this. I'm trying to see if I can find this. It was another one. Check this one out right here. I think this is a good one. Again from San Francisco. Oh yeah, this is very good right here. So let me show you this one. And then I'm going to address some of the comments. And before I do that, though, I want to address Taraji Henderson's comment. Most of you guys have probably heard about Trump's Black Jobs comment. And hell, at this point in life, you think that blacks would want to have dominion over jobs. It is our jobs. Same way they kind of talk about the NFL and the NBA is black. Shouldn't they want black jobs? But I guess not. But there's something that they artificially and they fake outrage here. Let's take a look at another San Francisco Pride Month parade. Again, they should show these things on the news. Let everyone see. Show pride in it. Put it on the news so everyone can see it. Let's take a look. She's pissing on him in public. I mean, again, no one's stopping them from doing any of this. Hell, no one's stopping them from doing it in public. And no one has ever stopped them from doing it in private. But yet they have to force their agenda on everyone. It doesn't work otherwise. You heard the lady saying that the Boy Scouts marched down this Pride Month parade. You have to ask yourself, what parent would take their child to that? If they decide to take their child to that, then, well, I mean, it's really on them. But what sane parent would take their child to this Boy Scout thing? But anyway, just some of the things I thought about as I was perusing the news today. And I'll cover this Black comments thing. I'm not sure if you guys saw Taraji Henderson perform at the VMAs. And so she had a couple comments. So let me cover this article right here. I'll make it a little bit. And so, for those of you not familiar with this Kendrick Lamar song, Not Like Us or something, it's some kind of response to Drake, the rapper Drake. And so here is Taraji, and down below, she's taking issues with Trump's statement about the jobs. So Trump said they're taking black jobs, talking about the immigrants, migrants. It could be 18, it could be 19, it could be 20 million people that are taking black jobs, and they're taking Hispanic jobs. And wait a minute, I didn't even know he mentioned Hispanic jobs. And you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history. Economists from a variety of political backgrounds have said there's no data to support the claim that immigrants are taking jobs that would have otherwise gone to U.S. citizens. That's a splitting of hairs there. So opening the BET Awards, I'm sorry, I thought it was the VMAs. She performed the song Not Like Us. She changed the lyrics to It's About Us and rocked a red hoodie in homage to K. Dot. I'm not sure who K. Dot is. After that, she took a jab at Trump's comment about black jobs. She said this is a show full of all-stars with black jobs, whatever that means. She added dryly, but clearly we know there's a difference. Thanks for the info. We already knew it. She starts talking about it's a crime to be homeless, blah, 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 blah. What's interesting about that is, if I'm not mistaken, Taraji Henderson was recently complaining about not making enough money or something, complaining about Hollywood. And now the Democrats have told her she better get in line, and they made her film a video with Kamala Harris. So it's just also interesting how these people. Oh, someone says K. Dot equals Kendrick Lamar. I didn't know that. Okay, fair enough. Damn, I still have a gnat in here. I got to kill that thing. But yeah, so I just found it to be very interesting. So I think there's one more article that I wanted to discuss. Now that's the real estate article. There's one more. See if I can find it. If not, I'll answer some questions and bring people up on the panel. Here's another one. Again, LGBT. And this will be my kind of my last comment on LGBT. I think I've gotten the point across. Well, you know what? Let me go to this one more Taraji Henderson here. Let me see if this is it. Oh yeah, this is it. Let's take a look at this. Oh yeah. This is definitely it right here. So let's take a look. And again, you can kind of see where the Democrats are headed here. And so I'm kind of leaning in the direction that they're going to keep Biden. They're doing a full court press to overlook that bad debate. And now they're going all out to tell you to vote for Biden. So let's take a look. Well, they're telling you at least to vote. So let's take a look. Now, again, this is at the BET Awards. So she's telling all the blacks that are watching this. They're going to overlook everything. I'm telling you, it really doesn't matter who they put in there for the nominee. These people are they're cult members, and they're all in for Biden. So I was just wondering where the Democrats are going to go from here after Biden's terrible performance. But I think we can see now that they're going to double down on it, and I think they're going to have to get a little bit more extreme with their behavior to basically like brute force you to not pay attention. Someone says John's always interesting to listen to. Anyone? Oh, let me put the link up for the panel here. And if no one joins, I'll go through the comments and then I'll kind of give you a preview of some of the stories. Ross, girl, I subscribed to your site and I think you streamed last night. I looked and I missed you. I said, damn, I missed your show last night. Next time. But I think you only go on the weekends, if I'm not mistaken. Our kids' entry-level jobs are being taken at French Toast. Do you need to rethink their lives too? That is correct. French Toast must be someone in the chat. It's spelled Courtney. Okay, French Toast TT. If your job can be taken by an immigrant that can barely speak English, you need to rethink your life. I don't think she saw that video of the moped drivers in DC. The guy's making $1,100 a week driving on the streets of DC with no license, tags, registration, anything. They're taking someone else's jobs and they're making more doing it because they don't have to follow the rules. I think that's the unseen thing that French Toast TT doesn't see. And above that, you have, blue collar men that do roofing and things like that. And they really can't compete with the labor costs of the migrant groups. Oftentimes, the migrant groups, the labor groups live together as well as work together. They're not hopping in a couple cars to go to work. Their boss man is picking all of them up at one time. And that makes doing business much, much, much more affordable, profitable, I should say. Someone said I should have zoomed in. Okay. Don't date bisexual. I think it's probably okay to date not a bisexual woman, but a lesbian. You might get away with no diseases there. I see I have Get Crack up here. What do you have today? What's on your mind, Get Crack?
Oh, nothing, man. I mean, this stuff in San Francisco happens all the time.
Yeah,
like, even outside Pride Month, man.
Yeah, I've seen it for years. I'm just really surprised that people are willing to tolerate some of the very, very lewd behavior.
Dude, there's another one that happens in I forgot which month it is, September, and it goes up and down another street. It's a smaller one, not as big as this, like in the main market street. And they do even more degenerate shit. It's like that if you gotta get videos of that one.
What is that, like a tenderloin or something like that?
No. This is not tenderloin. Tenderloins. Yeah, if you actually dared to put that through the tenderloin, oh god.
Yeah, I've been to San Francisco a couple times. I used to go to San Francisco every year for the football game. I used to be a big 49er fan.
Oh,
Yeah, and then when all
man.
that Kaepernick stuff started, I said,
No, 49ers over. They moved it down to Santa Clara. It's like the Santa Clara. Come on. Come
yeah.
on.
But what was the name of the stadium?
Candlestick.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. Yeah, I've been there a couple times. Hey, Seven Steel, if you're not working or anything, I would love to get you up on the panel. We can go back and forth a little bit about real estate if you like, or if you have questions or comments. I would love to hear from a fellow landlord there. What location are you in, by the way? Seven Steel. You know. But yeah, so yeah, I've been to San Francisco. I'm just really amazed. But even Oakland has turned really badly. Have you seen what's going on there with the mayor of Oakland?
Oh man, cover it. Yes, cover it. Shang Tao, Shang Tao. And she got some Vietnamese like waste management it's like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Hey, here's something that I found interesting about the Oakland mayor and the waste guy. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, pull this up.
Let me see if I can find this. This might be very interesting. This angle of it could be interesting. There was someone who did a mailer for her. Are you familiar with that mailer? Have you heard about that?
I heard that. Yeah, when they flood your mailbox with all these stupid ass like vote for this guy, vote for that, right?
Right.
And apparently you didn't pay the post office for that stuff.
There's something else that happened as well in that I guess the person that she was running against was a black man. Did you hear about this?
No. Come on. Yeah, give me the deets, man.
Okay.
It's hard to follow this stuff, man, because every day it comes out with like 20 more details. It's just like, what?
Yeah. Okay, let me see. I think I have it up here. So I'm just going to put you on the search page, and then we can work our way down from here. Check this out, right? So let me know if you're able to see the screen. See my screen. I probably need to zoom in a little bit.
Yeah, zoom in a little bit. You can drop Courtney's post there. It's taking up like a lot of real estate.
Yeah, I'm gonna read it. Seven Steel said he's in Virginia. You should definitely give a call. I'm in DC. Feel free to log on the panel. Let's see if I can maximize this. So the Oakland mayor, what did she get cracked? Is she Vietnamese? What's her background?
I think Hmong. She's Hmong.
Okay.
But that's why I said they have the Laotians, Hmong, Vietnamese, Cambodians. Like they're kind of like they're interlinked.
Yeah. You have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of diversity out there. Let me see. So she was running against a black man, Johnson, and I guess this is the man she's running against. No, she's running against this man. He was black. And so this is someone that works in one of her offices. Johnson said a couple weeks before the November election, a longtime customer, Juarez, contracted him to print roughly 170,000 mailers targeting the candidates. The picture of me was doctored up, and my skin is darkened, and I think she reddened his eyes. I'm going to see if I can find that mailer. So he's accusing this Asian woman of being racist against him in the election. It looks like we got someone else to just join here. Seven Steel, what's up? How's it going?
Good afternoon. Good morning, everyone. How you doing?
All right. So, hey, I don't mean to change subjects here. Get cracked. We'll get back to Oakland either today.
Sure.
We definitely cover it. So, Seven Steel, you're a landlord in Virginia, is that right?
I'm in Virginia. Listen, I wanted to tap in right now. I definitely want to have a conversation with you about being a landlord and other things. I'm just moving around right now, but I just want to show my respect. I'm going to catch you when you do a later show. That's kind of easier for me to maneuver. So I definitely want to talk to you. And I love everything you're doing, man. So just keep it going, all right?
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm glad you jumped up on the panel.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, HB and I, we're going to be doing like a overnight truckers show, all about the trucking business, just, the trucking in general, the highs, the low lights, as well as, focusing on owner operators, people trying to get into the business. So that'll be late night. So if you want to catch us there, will be there as well.
Okay, sounds good.
But you have my email. You can always email me anytime you got a question and something like that. You want to talk about something.
Yeah, because you say a lot of great things that I wasn't aware of, even being a landlord for 8 years.
Yeah.
A lot of what you say I want to implement, but I definitely want to talk to you about a bunch of things. So we'll definitely talk.
Indeed. Sounds great.
Thank you,
great.
sir.
All right, man.
All right.
Yeah, so get cracked back to this Oakland. Where was the Oakland lady? Did I lose my training?
Yeah, Shang Tao.
Yeah, so she put out a mailer basically of and I'm seeing if I can find it. Here it is right here. So the picture was up. My skin is darkened. My eyes
You
are
got
turning
zoom in probably for like
sorry,
yeah.
There you go. I got to remember to do that every time. Right?
Yeah.
So he's saying that his skin was darkened, the picture was doctored, his eyes were turned red, his eyebrows were pointing, sort of evoking images of a devil. Hey, the hormones, they played some rough and tough politics, I guess.
This is straight up messed, man.
But I don't even know why anyone would want to be the mayor of Oakland.
Okay. I got some articles ready for this. I knew one day you would cover Oakland. I was like, oh yeah, you gotta go this way. I know it. Oakland is a pure example of what's going wrong here, you know?
Yeah.
But let me see if I can find some.
Put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Now, I just found it interesting, like that he would accuse another fellow Democrat of racism, considering I'm sure I hit something on that.
Okay, I put this link from Peter Thiel. This is from 2018. All right.
Okay.
And this is way back when, where all these guys from Silicon Valley, they were planning their move, right, to get out of California eventually. And Elon already did that with moving the headquarters to Texas. So this will set the stage for you.
Let me see if I can
give you an image of what's up.
I don't know if I can copy this. Put it in the back chat.
Okay.
I'll be able to copy it. Yeah. Because I can't copy it there. All I can do is show it.
Okay, here you go.
All right. Give me 1 second. I'll pull it up. Oh, yeah. I saw another before I get to that. I saw something on Twitter that I thought was interesting. I never thought about this before. Let me know if you guys have ever seen this. This is kind of interesting. I never thought about it like this before.
Oh man, not this one. Oh, I know this one. Yeah, I've seen this.
I've never seen this before.
No. You don't trigger me, man.
You know what in the chat ever seen this before? Does anyone know what I'm about to show here? Let me see if anyone in the chat is coming here. Let's see. So I'll play it. Let me play this. That's supposed to be like a baby's head, by the way. Anyone ever seen it? I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, I never thought about that, but it does make sense that a woman's hips are wide enough.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to derail anything too much here, but the thing about in America, I don't know about other Western nations, but they really promote you to get C-sections now, even though you don't need it.
Really?
Yes. Doctors really. I don't know if it's a cost thing. Maybe the guy that was on CT's channel that was talking about the codes for medical. I wonder if you ask that dude, hey, how much does it cost to get natural birth versus a C-section? Is it a cost thing? But in any case, I know people tell me with their relatives, a lot of people, they said, yeah, they keep recommending C-sections more and more. So I'm getting that. Well,
the way medicine is going today is probably more expensive. It's like
yeah, I don't know. You know, it's. But the thing is, if that's true, that or is it? It could be that women's hips are shrinking. Like it could be that. I don't know what the reason. We'll have to dig down that rabbit hole some other time. But the thing that I want to mention that is because a lot of people's illnesses now, they figured out that when you have a natural birth, when you go through the vaginal canal, that it introduces like certain organisms while the baby's being born, so that the immune system of the baby starts working. And if that doesn't happen naturally, it could be that, you know, a lot of illnesses we see now is already, so maybe it's epigenetics, whatever, but I'm not a medical guy, so we definitely
I have heard that though about like some of the I can't remember what was the word used, but I have heard that like the benefits of a natural birth. That's interesting. That's very article about Oakland here. Let me zoom in. So Peter Thiel, he was one of the guys that created PayPal. Yeah, PayPal co-founder, Trump supporter. He attended one of the foremost universities on the West Coast. Let's see what he's saying here. He has some choice words to describe the East Bay. East Bay is Oakland, right? While in conversation with friend and LinkedIn founder Reid Hoffman. And Peter Thiel went on to say, he reframed the question to discuss contemporary technological and scientific progress. Silicon Valley is divided into three camps. The official Google propaganda narrative espouses the acceleration of tech, exclaiming the fast pace at which science is progressing. A second group claims technology is fostering an unequal world. And a third group believes Silicon Valley has a stagnation issue, that the future isn't happening at all. Thiel believes that there's some truth to all three. All right, let's see. Then he turned to critical issues on California. The conversation meandered back and forth.
Well, read the box part. That's the quote. That's his quote there. Yeah.
It's amazing we have this incredible tech thing going on in Silicon Valley. And if you just go to the East Bay, across the Bay Bridge or the Dumbarton Bridge, you're in this basically failing state. This failing state that, you know, in the next recession probably will go broke. What do you think about that, Get Crack?
Yeah. So if you look at Oakland right now, this is what happened. And this was he was talking in 2018. And I think a lot of tech people, you know, they look at the East Bay and they go like, what the heck? Like everything in the South Bay and up the peninsula towards San Francisco on one side. I don't know if people know the geography of the Bay Area. Maybe that helpful to put up a map.
Yeah, I'm sure
right here
right now as we go.
Here we go. Okay. Let's zoom out a bit. Yeah, let's zoom out a bit.
All right.
Okay, go down a little bit. Yeah. Oh, down a little bit. Okay. So that's enough. Yeah. So you see, like this pool of water basically divides us, you know, and it's like a natural gated community. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you know about BART, right?
Yeah. BART comes across here.
Yeah. So, you know, in the olden days, before I was born, even, like there was a lot of pressure from local politicians and municipalities to not allow BART to expand. Interesting, huh?
They didn't want it to come into San Francisco.
No, San Francisco is fine. They didn't want it to go up North Bay to Marin. Marin is basically north of that Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh yeah, that's the real expensive area right here.
That's the real Sausalito. All those guys, all the tech guys, actually, like the rich of the rich. Some of them live up there. Now going back down, San Mateo didn't want them either.
Hold on, how do I close all this? Okay, San Mateo is where? That's down, right?
Down. Yeah.
Damn, so this whole
San Mateo.
Part,
yeah, this whole part. So that's where all the tech stuff is. So Google headquarters is below San Mateo.
Oh,
San Mateo is like Stanford, and you have all these other like startups up there. Yep. So they also did not want BART to expand. So,
Wait, hold on, get crazy. So Stanford is a long way from San Francisco. It looks like.
Yeah, it's about an hour away in traffic.
Man.
Yep.
So all of this is affluent over here. All of this is very affluent, right?
If you zoom into Palo Alto and Stanford, there's a zip code that's the richest in all of California. Basically, you ever heard of Atherton?
Yeah. I've heard of Atherton. Yeah.
Atherton does not allow sidewalks in its city boundaries. No
Really?
sidewalks.
So they don't want you walking around.
They don't want fucking anybody walking around. Yep.
Really? Where is Atherton?
So a lot of like these so-called liberals, Sam Bankman-Fried's parents probably live in Atherton.
That's right.
They don't want sidewalks. They don't want BART. They don't want nothing because they don't want hood motherfuckers coming down there.
It's a true, that's extreme liberalism where they can live away from it. They have a natural area.
Hey, John, you kind of slowly breaking up here and there. So I think maybe too many resources going up on this Google Maps.
I know. Let me close some of these tabs I have open.
Yeah. But now you see, right, the internal politics here. So unlike other like places in across America, the San Francisco Bay, that big blue water in the middle, is a natural buffer, and they want to keep it that way.
Wow. So when I flew into Oakland, I caught a train that brought me over into San Francisco. Is that like here?
That's BART. Yeah, basically BART. Yeah. It's underground, like all of it's underground in there. Yep.
Huh. But it seems that Oakland is so close to San Francisco.
Oakland could,
like Oakland Heights.
Yes. Oakland should be with San Francisco a big economic powerhouse. Because Oakland has better weather. It has but the thing is like Oakland just keeps failing hard. And there was a lot of gentrification about maybe 10 years ago where Peter Thiel was talking about. They were trying to push gentrification a lot in these places, but it still keeps failing. And I think last stream on CTs, I Imperious and I mentioned ranked choice voting a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to get into that too much because it's just like, this is another rabbit hole about why that helps progressives. But I'll look for this other article to give you, which goes into it more. And we can go there. Let's see if I can find it.
What do they call those things that they have in the cities where they just spin around in the middle of the street in like Oakland and San Francisco? Have you heard of
those? The sideshows?
Yeah.
Sideshows are fun, man. I was just like, what the hell?
You been to a sideshow?
I've back in the old days we had little mini ones up in the hood. But like nowadays it's like crazy. It's just like the Super Bowl of sideshows every night almost.
Why does that keep happening? Do you have an idea why do they allow that to keep happening?
Man, you can't really stop them. It's like they plan it out. They just get a bunch of their buddies and just block the freeway. They just ride parallel each other. And then when they decide to get to a point they can stop the traffic, they'll stop. They'll brake. And then they'll start spinning, going crazy. Yeah, it's organized, man.
Yeah, apparently. Hey, I have another private video. Someone just sent me this one. Take a look at this. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Man, that is amazing right there. Who would do that to their child? Seriously, the boy has like a LGBT uniform on. Again, I go back to something I found that I thought about earlier today was is basically this. You have a child, the child is here, and since he's a white kid, he'll just move straight up in the LGBT vortex here. But it's so apparent that they're going after the children at such an early age. It's really amazing to me to see this. Let's see, we have some comments here. Someone says, "Crack, do you know any real estate agents in Atherton?"
Oh no, man. I mean, I would love to hear your take on how you would do your own real estate, because they repealed that law, right?
Which one are you talking about? The real estate agents or the?
Yeah, that can't do the minimum, like where the seller's real estate agent can get some of your buyers, like you know what I mean? Like if I'm a buyer, I have to pay the sellers like what the fuck? Like that bullshit. Yeah, that's gone, right?
Yeah, that was I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. I think the fees will just be shifted around.
Oh, that's your take on it. All right.
Yeah, that was gonna be actually the topic of the show today. We can talk about it a little bit. So basically, and I was talking to a couple of real estate agents the other day, and he was saying that more or less, I want to say that the seller, is it the seller? The seller usually has to pay the commission, and people will think that if the seller doesn't really have to pay the commission, they'll keep their part of the costs, and so the prices will more or less just stay the same. Maybe some other services will be offered by the more aggressive agents, such as staging or whatever other services they'll come up with.
I've seen some really, really slick agents, like that do really good jobs. Like they got the whole website going, where the websites automatically have drone footage, have 3D capture of all the rooms. Maybe I'll show you a listing. Later on. But here, let me. So I gave you a link on the back chat.
All right. Let me share this tab. Libby Schaff. I've heard that name before.
Mm-hmm.
She was the mayor, right? Yep. Okay, so she was the mayor before this.
Yep.
She's a small head lady. She was a small head lady, right?
She's a small hat. Yep.
That's it, right? So she left 7 of the 8 city council seats in the hands of her political opponents, a hard-left, union-driven coalition that swept the table. Wait a minute, was she not a Democrat? She was a Democrat, though, right?
She's a Democrat. Yes. Oh, zoom in a bit. Maybe people, their eye. I mean, I don't know. People's my eyes are getting old.
Yeah,
maybe that's too much.
A lot of people probably looking at the phone anyway.
One went back. Maybe okay. Yeah. Here we go. That's enough.
Schaaf showed her more blame than she deserved for the city's homelessness, rising gun violence, and troubled municipal finances. The weak mayor governance structure. The mayor can propose a financial and policy, but the ultimate power rests with the 8-member city council. The mayor has only a seldom used tie-breaking vote. Okay, so this is a very liberal council. Let's see what else they have in there. Oakland politics do not divide between Republicans and Democrats. Rather, they split between progressives. Are there Republicans in Oakland?
No.
There are those on the left who also respect the financial realities, such as Schaaf and Lauren Taylor. Lauren Taylor was the guy that was running, the self-described pragmatic progressive who ran unsuccessfully to succeed her. And there are those on the far left. So they have a left and a far left.
Right. That's what the ranked choice voting has caused us to have.
Wow.
Where it basically, when you do ranked choice, like most of the 3rd, 4th, 5th votes, because you can vote for all your candidates, but you rank them. Like, this is my first choice. This is my second choice. This is my third choice. And the thing is like people's second choice, third choice, fourth choice is always more just other progressives. So then you just have a long list of progressives, more progressive. And then eventually it coalesces into like center leftish kind of.
Yeah,
like progressive kind of, and then you have these ultra progressives, and then these ultras, they when they talk more crazy shit, they just keep getting more of that third vote, and they just keep building power that way, and then they just end up being like the second vote in the ballot, and then now all these center left guys are fighting these like more insane progressives that keep getting the third vote because
That is interesting.
That is interesting.
I think they were trying to bring that to New York City at one point while I was.
It's
there.
Alaska because Imperious yesterday said it was happening in Alaska. I was like, what? How's so? But I don't know the demographics of Alaska. Like, do you think like Alaska will just get the opposite effect, where it's just more and more right wing?
Who's
like, I don't know.
Now, don't they have a fairly liberal? I don't know who.
I think they do, yeah. But I'm kind of wondering if like this rank choice stuff may have a different effect over there. You know, it could be interesting.
Give crack for me. EAE says, "Can you just show one of your eyeballs?"
Yeah. Come on.
What's up, man? What's on your mind this morning? Mr. Kim, you there?
Oh, hey, good morning, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't hear you.
No
Hey,
problem.
John,
How's it going?
read all, and for the most part, I'm just going to listen and learn. But I did want to say one thing, John. If you ask, give back to me. All the stories I've mentioned are very unimpressive. It's no new news to give crack for me as far as Asian thinking, as far as saving and building business. So it's very unimpressive. It exists all over the world. So if you want to run some of those stories by, give crack for me. It's a non-issue. That's just the way Asians are, or the Asian level of thinking. So I just wanted to mention that he would probably be a great source to either call Cap or, hey, yeah, that's kind of legit, and that's just the way they focus and think. So, but with that being said, we're checking out of an Airbnb.
Airbnb.
I'll be quiet.
Well, you saying you're in Louisiana? How was the Airbnb, Master Kim?
It was dope. But it's so humid down here. And whatnot. So, but but for me to be away for a week, to keep my white wife happy is stunning, because I got stuff to do. So I'm glad to be checking out and getting back to base of operations.
You ready to get back to business there, Master Kim?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I wanted to run something past you guys, kind of business related. For all the Amazon drivers and things like that, check this out right here. I saw this. I meant to show this earlier. Let me see. I'm going to share this tab. And if you can't see it, I'll describe it. So this is a tweet that I saw, and it looks like Amazon is automating some of their warehouses, I guess. So the workers are sad that they're losing their jobs. It almost didn't seem real to me. I'm going to Google that. Has anyone heard about that? Does anyone work for Amazon in the chat and have seen some of that? In the Jerk says, "What's up, John? You put on a great show last night, man." The last 1 minute of that show was my lowest point. I was ready to go to bed at that point. I don't know what time it was. It must have been about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. I don't know. But I had to cut Lawrence off. Say, hey, man, sorry, Lawrence. I got to end the show tonight. Let's see. Amazon robots. Oh, yeah. Well, that is true. That is very true. Oh, man. Wow. Listen at this. Look at this. Check this out. Wow. Like, I did a stream a while back about kind of doing like a hood credit check. And one of the things that I use, I've tried to focus on is like the quality of your income, if that makes sense. If you work for, I don't know, if you drive Uber, that's good and bad. The computer can dictate how much you make, but if you just stay out there long enough, maybe you can make your rent money. Now I'm going to have to start looking a little skeptical at Amazon drivers and workers in the warehouse. Look at this. This is true. Amazon advances automation with over 750,000 robots. Wow. Replacing 100,000 jobs. I've long said that as these people keep agitating for higher and higher wages, they become more easily replaceable by machines. And I think that's what we're seeing here, is that these people are being have agitated themselves out of a job and are being replaced by machines. It's really amazing. 750,000 robots alongside its human workforce. They employ about 1.5 million people, has seen a reduction of over 100,000 employees from its peak of 1.6 in 2021. This shift coincides with a rapid expansion of its robotic fleet, which grew from 200,000 robots in 2019 to 500,000 in 2022. What do you think this is headed for the guys that are driving Uber or Amazon vans or working in the Amazon warehouses? Master Kim, get cracked.
Well, you know what's going to happen. I think the trend has always been set. Yeah, I walk by like a lot of startups in different towns in California, and some of them have glass windows, and you see what they're doing. And I've seen a lot of them with these robot arms, like these engineers programming them, testing them, doing simple tasks like turning screws, moving boxes, lifting boxes, just like this. And that's where they come from. So it's not a surprise because they'll fund these startups. They'll make them compete with each other. Very cheap for Amazon not to need to do it in-house. And then whoever wins gets bought out. They take their employees, scale it up. This is what you get.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. They do get bought out. It's like they create a little research company.
That's what you do, man. Yeah, because that's how all these kids to get out of Stanford, Berkeley with comp sci degrees, they just want to be bought out.
Yeah,
they can't. They're not going to be the next Google. They're not going to be the next Apple. It's like, dude, it's nearly impossible now.
Damn, that is interesting. So there are probably some smaller company that created this, got it off the ground, and Amazon just took it and ran with it. Yeah, right. Research from institutions like MIT indicates that industrial robots can negatively impact jobs and wages. Yeah, I'm sure of that. Wow. I wonder how much of the drones that are being used in war will come back and be used like in the private sector to replace jobs.
That's happening. So did you remember the war between Azerbaijan and Armenia?
I remember reading about that.
You're roboting a bit, so I think all the tabs again are like there's too many playing that wind video. Yeah, every time you play a video, I think it starts sucking up resources, and then you gotta close it right away after you play it.
I probably need more RAM here. That's how I heard about it.
No, I think nowadays I think you need like 128 gigs.
Get started here. So go ahead. What were you saying? Get cracked?
Yeah, so Azerbaijan and Armenia. So that war was interesting because the U.S., Turkey, Iran, everybody were putting their tech in that war to test out the drones. And this was like a year before Ukraine, Russia, or something, maybe months, maybe even just months before. And they were testing out all the new drone tech they developed at each other. And that was the proving grounds. And it showed that these drones, are very powerful when coordinated correctly.
Yeah.
And so now they have a fleet. They'll just have like 2-3 scout drones come at you first. Then the whole wave comes later, and then they start attacking. Yeah, you want to hear that? There's a Chinese mercenary on YouTube that talks about his experience in the front lines, where these drones just come out of nowhere and scare the shit out of you. So he said all these pro mercenaries, they ran like bitches. And he said like he couldn't trust anybody in his unit. And he was complaining left and right, saying like, oh, if this was all Chinese army, we wouldn't have ran like that and blah, blah, blah. And he was talking about this African who ran off, this Russian who ran off. He was talking mad shit about everyone else.
Stanley says startups are a career path for elite STEM students. I think that's true. If you're at Stanford, you have Google throwing a bunch of money for you to create something.
Right. That's right.
That'll be much better than even going to work for Google.
Mm-hmm.
Start your own thing up there. Yeah, I think that's true there. They're trying to ban DJI in the US. What is DJI?
I have no idea. He has to explain that one.
I've heard of FPV drones, but I don't know what the FPV stands for. 100 miles an hour. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Like I showed a video yesterday about some criminals being traced and tracked by drones. Did you see that? I think
Yeah.
you saw it.
Yeah.
Someone said it's a Chinese drone company. Wow. DG says morning salute. But the jobs it created are higher end knowledge and tech type. Yep, I do agree with that. Yeah. I don't know if many of those Amazon drivers will be able to move upstream, and maybe some of them will be able to maybe repair or work on drones. But I think their hardware making and the software designing would probably be, higher end, like white collar type jobs. Yeah, I don't think the Amazon worker would be able to fulfill many of those. I think that's why they were crying in the parking lot. Like they knew that they're gonna have to go find something else to do there.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep on forgetting, and I'm gonna love this because I'm gonna get a big ass laugh out of get cracked for me. So I keep on forgetting to mention that my brother and I own a Chinese restaurant. So we are Koreans faking the funk of a Chinese restaurant. So anything relative to Chinese food, carry out, pickup, anything like that, break it down to me, and I'll give you the straight dope, at least how we do it, and whatnot. So it's absolutely stunning that the Chinese food restaurant, because there's no number two when people want Chinese food. Most soccer moms and the Karens prefer Chinese food over Mexican food. Mexican food they can probably eat once a month. Chinese food they can eat, because of the stir fries and pad thais and multiple times a month. But with that being said, I keep on forgetting to say that. And we don't make money. The only people who make money is our food vendor and our cooks, who are all Chinese. And
Wait a minute, say that one more time, Master Kim.
Well, in the restaurant industry, generally speaking, whether it be Chinese food, Mexican, or whatnot, the only people making money are the cooks and your food vendor. Because Asian food is so labor intensive, it's specific skills. You cannot just hire a reject that's been fired from, Applebee's. These are Chinese cooks with specific skills.
Really?
Meat to devein them and stuff like that. Stuff that will keep white people and black people from choking. These are very skilled people. They want X amount of money. They don't want nothing more, nothing less. Don't mess with their money. And we get along swimmingly well. But it's very confusing to see, Koreans speaking English to people that, their normal language is Cantonese or Mandarin, because our kitchen is mixed. But it's actually kind of funny because you would expect us to speak fluidly with them, and we don't. It's funny. But these guys are absolutely a blessing. Anytime you order an order and you want it to be MSG free or gluten free, we all roll our eyes and just make it as usual and say, yeah, it's MSG free. And there's some and there's some stereotypes that are absolutely true about African Americans when they call in. I mean, they want shrimp, everything from shrimp this, and we actually give overly great customer service because we do expect a callback, and 80% of the time we do get a callback over some phantom. Get credit for their next order, but it's like a tug of war, to be honest with you. But they order high dollar valued items off the menu. So,
but who does? You said the black people order high dollar value items?
Because it's all shrimp, everything, shrimp egg roll, shrimp fried rice, shrimp this, shrimp that. Everything is shrimp. Everything is shrimp, top to bottom. Shrimp everything, and we're almost petrified when they call in because we give over customer service. We throw in as much free shit as we want because we don't want to call back, but we get the call back of, hey, this wasn't right or that wasn't right, and it's like, oh man, it's a hustle. It's a restaurant hustle, to be honest with you.
Man, oh man. Yeah, I mean restaurants are crazier than like being a landlord, man. This is yeah, exactly.
You own a Chinese restaurant?
Yeah, so we're in the restaurant is in Michigan. We're in a predominantly all white community, but we do get some hood people that do order from us or whatnot. And we dominate the market because there's no substitute for Asian food. There is no hibachi near us. There's no other Asian food. So if
no Panda Express,
there's nowhere to be found. So if you want,
God,
you want some tasty food, we're the only, and our food is good too, by the way. Unlike some country ass towns that were there, and we make all the traditional Chinese dishes, traditional for Americans, like the General Tso's chicken, sweet and sour chicken, almond chicken, all that. So we make all these traditional deep fried, breaded entrees that, traditional Americans like. The soccer moms and all that stuff. We do have some pet ties and all that other stuff, but yeah, and when people order their food, when they show up to pick it up, or they look like the food that they order. By the way,
What do you mean by that?
Meaning, if they order a lot of the fattier foods and all that, they show up and they look the piece. Versus people that order the pet ties and are want MSG, gluten free, this and that, they do show up and are the middle-aged white soccer moms that are in good shape. So they look like what they order.
So you say the cook in a Chinese restaurant makes pretty well?
Yeah, because these are disciplined people. I mean, they get paid $16 an hour cash. No, actually, we have a set amount. These people will overwork the hours, and they just do a great job because they also save us a lot of money. Because when you cut chicken up and beef, you have to cut it a certain way. You can't just cut cubes. You got to cut it a certain way. The fat and all the byproduct, there is scrap, but a lot of it we chop up and throw into the egg roll mix, So they know how to cut stuff the right way to save us money. They are just, they've got different brains. They save the restaurant owners money. They're very conservative people. So they treat our inventory as if it's their own. And it's for sure a cultural thing. You can't teach. All of our cooks quit when COVID hit because, they were getting stories from Hong Kong and China before we got message of COVID here. So right when COVID hit, they got scared. They all quit. We had to hire a bunch of white and black people that were laid off from their jobs as cooking from Applebee's or whatnot. And it was like a ragtag cooking team, and they've never worked a wok before. And if you understand the way,
you don't know how to work a wok, it's over.
Yeah, they don't. So we had to teach these white boys and black people how to work a wok and how to cut chicken the right way to not waste a lot. And they just never could get it. They could. It was just a different brain. So when our guys came back, our Chinese guys came back, we were back in the game again, but it was very painful staying open because it was like it was like the devil. We were 3 times as busy with kind of a reject staff. And I was one of the rejects too, working the wok. I've never worked, I had to myself work the wok, and it was.
You worked the wok, Master Kim?
Yeah, I can work the wok. You got to hold your arms in front of you, almost like you're sleepwalking, and you hold the utensils out. So can you imagine holding your arms directly in front of you with 2 utensils down, scooping the wok, and with the fried rice and everything, it gets heavy after a while.
Oh yeah. Damn, I never thought about that. I never thought about it like
experience, but it made me treasure Chinese Americans 1,000 times more because of our cooks. That they wanted to be paid cash, and we never missed. And trying to come up, because everyone's paying debit card and credit card, right? So I had to go around, hit up ATMs and cash business checks on a Saturday, because these guys, it's just, as long as because it's that important not to mess with their money, they'll never ask for a penny more. They're not stealing cases of ribs in their car. They're not, they're not doing gangster American stuff. In fact, it is, if you're a cook in an American restaurant, you must steal a case of ribs or shrimp. It's just part of the pay.
It's part of the pay. Yeah. So, Master Kim, is this like a hole in the wall Chinese restaurant, or is this where people sit down and eat?
Offline, I'll give you the name and everything offline. But yeah, no, it's not a hole in the wall. My background is convenience stores and stuff like that, right? So we had a convenience store that we first tried to do carry out pizza. So a bunch of, although we're Korean, white people look at us as like chinky Chinese people, right? Trying to swing pizza. It just wasn't working. So we tried to do the Asian grocery bit. So then we turned it into a carry out Chinese restaurant. Okay. And we had to hire a bunch of cooks, Chinese, because the sauces and everything, you just don't wait. You cannot go online and get these recipes of these sauces, and it's to make it in bulk. And I guess one thing I also wanted to throw in, John, I can tell you the dishes to order every time that will be fresh, and I'll tell you which days to order of the week that will be absolutely fresh. Normally on Thursdays, we make all of our deep fried food for the weekend because the stuff's already pre-cooked. That's just the way the restaurant industry is. It isn't
Really?
just Chinese food. Yeah, so ordering it carry out on Thursday is probably the best because we batter and deep fry everything for the weekend. So everything you get over the weekend, I'm going to say all the way till maybe Monday. That shit was
Really?
cooked on Thursday. The deep fried batter stuff. It's completely fresh and good, but I'm just giving you the straight dope. Seafood, always seafood, lobster tail, Hong Kong steak, all that stuff is obviously just the nature of it. It's frozen, made, and then cooked fresh. It's funny because anytime someone would order a Hong Kong steak, we'd be pissed because it's a certain type of sirloin that we just either don't keep enough on hand. But there was a Kroger's directly across the street, so I would jump in the car or send one of my, one of our staff to literally go to Kroger's and buy like a big piece of sirloin. The cooks would cut the sirloin, keep the scrap because we're going to chop up that scrap and throw it into the egg rolls, which are perfectly good, by the way, just to add flavoring. Yeah, it's and the reason I mentioned this, why Get Cracked for me. So although he might be a little bit more the educated class member, I said my family are like lower on the totem pole. We're like the store people and the restaurant people. There's a class divide, by the way, and I'm not trying to embarrass myself or others, but Get Cracked may be familiar with this, but chances are they're probably CPAs and educated professionals, but Get Cracked has heard stories of what I'm saying is nothing new, by the way. There's Vietnamese that own Chinese restaurants too, all over the place. Laotians.
Yeah, so Stanley was mentioning like like sushi restaurants too, and a lot of Chinese run sushi restaurants. So and many of them they speak like their own village dialect. So I knew a guy, who could speak many different dialects of Chinese, and he could tell which ones was which, and they branch out. They branch out.
I want to share with you quotes from a book that I read a long time ago. It was about the Chinese. Well, it wasn't solely about the Chinese. It was about different races of people. I'm going to see if I have it. I'm just going to send it to myself so I can share it with you. And I'm curious to know what you guys think of this, Master Kim and Get Cracked. I'm sending the second quote here. It's a book I read by Lothrop Stoddard. And let me see what the name of the book. The Rising Tide of Color Against White World Supremacy. And so let me pull up the quote, and I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on this. I'm sure most people have never heard this before. And when you were telling me that story, I thought about what you were saying here. I've actually thought about it quite a few times, Master Kim, as you've told me about just working with how the immigrant groups work. Let's see. Here's the first quote. I think this is the first one. Oh yeah, let me pull it up. I'll put it down here. So he's talking about the Chinaman, as he calls him. And this is Lothrop Stoddard. And I'm going to maximize this. Give me 1 second. All right. Maybe I can't maximize. I can't. I'll just have to read the pertinent quotes here. But basically what he says, at home, the average Chinese lives his entire life literally within a hand's breadth of starvation. Accordingly, when removed to the easier environment of other lands, the Chinaman brings with him a working capacity which simply appalls his competitors. That urbane Dr. Wu-Ting Fang, not Wu-Tang, Wu-Ting, says of his own people. I know people probably thinking Wu-Tang. Experience proves, this is a quote, experience proves that the Chinese, as all-around laborers, can easily outdistance all competitors. They are industrious, intelligent, and orderly. They can work under conditions that would kill a man of less hardy race. in heat that would kill a salamander, or in cold that would please a polar bear, sustaining their energy through long hours of unremitting toil on a few bowls of rice. This Chinese estimate is echoed by the most competent foreign observers. The Australian thinker Charles H. Pearson wrote of the Chinese a generation ago in his epoch-making book, National Life and Character. Flexible as Jews, and here's the next quote. Where is it? And here it is, the continuation. He says, the Chinese, flexible as Jews, they can thrive on the mountain plateau of Tibet and under the sun of Singapore, more versatile even than Jews. They are excellent laborers and not without merit as soldiers and sailors, while they have a capacity for trade which no other nation of the East possesses. They do not need even the accident of a man of genius to develop their magnificent future. A people of hundreds of millions disciplined for thousands of years to the most untiring industry and the most self-denying thrift, under conditions which would mean worse than death for our working masses. A people, in short, quite content to strive to the utmost in exchange for the simple privilege of life. That is one hell of a quote. This economic superiority of the Chinaman shows not only with other races, but with his yellow kindred as well. This is where I thought about you, Master Kim, and Get Cracked. As regards the Japanese, John Chinaman has proved it to the hilt. Wherever the two have met in economic competition, John the Chinaman is beating the Japanese hands down. Even in Japanese colonies like Korea and Formosa, the Japanese, with all the backing of their government behind them, have been worsted. Are you familiar with any of that, Get Cracked and Master Kim?
Okay. I mean, I don't know what he's trying to say about Formosa and Korea, like those colonies there. And
well, he's
like,
saying
is he saying the native Chinese immigrants that went to Korea and went to, which is Taiwan, Formosa is Taiwan, would just outcompete like Japanese laborers that they brought over, which probably is true. I mean, I knew a Chinese, ethnic Chinese that grew up in Korea. And he was the guy talking about he went to Taiwan and said don't trust the Taiwanese, blah blah blah. He was that guy, so he could speak that Korean, he could speak Chinese, and he went to France to study art, so he could speak French too. Then came to America, spoke English. So if he's an example of what that quote is saying, then yeah.
What do you think?
Some guy who's industrious.
What do you think, Master Kim? You've seen.
And again, not to hype up, Get Cracked for me because he doesn't need any more hyping up, but it just shows you how intelligent he is. He recalled the story. He was an active listener and recalled every bit and pieces of the story. I was barely paying attention. I was just going to come in with a one-liner like, oh, well, that's first generation people have that mindset and it gets lost after second generation. But that just shows how Get Cracked for me is an excellent listener and put it in perspective, which is high IQ. But with all that being said, I'm going to revert back to my one-liner. That kind of mentality thinking is doing well, but only first generation. By the time the kids go to pharmacy school or pass the CPA exam and are driving that big old Lexus, dating that white girl, they're very Americanized. However, when they go home with their parents, multi-generations, the reset button is hit. So they still have the valleys and stuff. So I'm sorry, I'm just giving a bunch of gibberish comments.
No. Well, the reason why I asked you that is because you drew a contrast between white and Black American workers versus the Chinese. And I remember reading this book where he just talked about how the Chinese, just relative to any other race of people, even their own Asian brethren, no one can compete with them. So I was wondering, what is that?
Yes.
What is in your opinion? Is that true?
Yeah. They're very good also because, I want to mention bean sprouts as just an example. Okay. In the restaurant industry, how you buy bean sprouts and tofu is very important. This is why white and Black people never succeed in the Chinese restaurant at the same level of keeping costs low. So, for example, you have to understand how to buy bean sprouts. I don't know how to buy bean sprouts accurately. So I've bought 10 bags of bean sprouts, and there's a time between when you pick it up or when it's delivered to when it's refrigerated, because bean sprouts can go bad very quickly. So I've had my Chinese cooks, who I'm their boss, but it's just, I'm their boss, but it's never worded like I'm their boss. I call, and Mr. So or Mr. Ha, which are Korean names. They really got Chinese names. I treat them like an older uncle or whatnot, and being cussed out in Cantonese that I can't understand because, like a dummy, I wasted a lot of money buying 10 to 20 bags of bean sprouts that we only have a day to use, and it's Friday, and Friday night is showtime. We can't be making egg roll guts. We call them egg roll guts, like the egg roll mix. We don't got time for that. So I just wasted $438 on bean sprouts because they got to sit in the cooler and they'll be bad by Monday. So he cussed me out in Cantonese because he wants me to win. He wants the owners to win and be successful. And that is maybe maybe that has to do with the generational thing. Maybe it has to do with some other stuff. But yeah, it's only, because he cared about us succeeding. So, and I think it has to do more generational, but also the culture. He doesn't want me to see people make stupid ass mistakes. Why would you pick up these bean sprouts on Thursday knowing that it's showtime, which is weekend?
That's a very good quality to have in an employee, one that cares. You can't really replace that. There are a lot of employees that wouldn't give a damn if you wasted your money on bean sprouts, as long as he got paid. So that trait, that quality, I mean, it's absolute gold to have on your team.
Yeah, but, absolutely. I've got to be silent for about 10 minutes, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, I think we're about to end this stream for today. I'm going to give you guys a preview of what I'll be talking about the next couple of days. And if you have any suggestions, feel free. Some of the topics I think are pretty good. Let's see. Tonight, I told you, HB and I, we're going to do trucker show. I'm going to come back to this show here. I'm going to discuss a recent sale of a house that I had while using a real estate agent, and I wish I hadn't. I did all the work and had to pay him a commission. But lesson learned on that one. Now I'll discuss the value in failing. Yeah, I really want to tell you some of the stories 20 years as a landlord, and as the thing I think it's been some great memories and moments. And then but before that, I want to tell you a story that's going to lead into, all the good things. Is that I had a tenant once kill himself. He was living in my house, and I got a phone call from his mother, and she just wanted to talk to me about her son. And I don't know what made me think about this topic, but I was somewhere and I said, that'd be an interesting topic to discuss. So it's the questions of a mother after a son's suicide. I was the only person she could talk to give her any kind of idea about her son. But then again, I'm going to walk through some of the demand things that I'm seeing. I'll show you all of the messages, some of my maybe negotiating leverage tactics I have over the tenants. And we're here, I say, there's no better time to be a landlord. Me and I go trucking. I think this show has an opportunity to really have legs. It'll be a late night show. You see, we're going to start it at 2 a.m. Is that tonight? Yeah, that's tonight. It's tomorrow night. One of these nights. It's tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, tonight, 2 a.m. So if you want to catch that, I think you'll find that interesting. Anyway, any other? Let me look through the comments and then I'll let you guys get out of here. John, please drop your show contact email. I'll do that right now. It's also on my YouTube page if you want to look it up there. Oh, get cracked for me. You got it. Someone says 2 a.m. Damn. Yeah, we'll probably go to 6 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be trucker talk for the people interested in getting trucking or just curious about the trucking business. And of course, riding across country with HB, he's going to have a lot of stories. Anyway, happy White History Month to someone. Any other thoughts, comments? Get cracked.
I dropped some links on some YouTube channels about how to cook Chinese food. So
I saw that.
one of them for how to use a wok. Yep. He breaks it down how to use it correctly, how to prepare your food, how to efficiently use your time with a wok so you can make food really quickly. And then the second one is if you want to go more in depth in Cantonese cooking, then that's another one. So you can make your own goddamn food. Come on, man. It ain't that hard. Like there's so many cooking channels that I see that do a very good job. I can cook French food now. I can cook fucking like cowboy Southern food, like fucking anything, man. It's just like there's so many good channels on YouTube. There's no excuse to not learn how to cook with all this inflation.
Huh? What kind of Southern food do you make?
I don't know. I watched this Kent Rollins guy. You heard of him? And he cooks all. Yeah, go look up Cowboy Kent Rollins. Like he cooks like all kinds of food. I could like Southern fried steak and all this shit. Like I like that stuff. Man, I love that. It's like, man, and there's a soul food channel too with this woman like teaching you all the stuff about it. I forgot her name. Like she does a good job too. Damn. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get fat.
I can't imagine Get Crack eating some soul food.
I'll eat all that.
What about any African food? Have you learned how to make any African food?
Like food and all that? No. But, that'll be funny. You see a Nigerian like cooking fufu in Ireland?
You still have time. All right, Master Kim, anything? What you got up for me, Master Kim?
Yeah, hey, I just want to communicate the myth about Chinese restaurants using cat meat. We don't, because there's not enough lean meat on the cat torso. It's cheaper to buy chicken.
It's cheaper to buy chicken. I listened to the radio in Mississippi, and there's a guy that makes like cat soup and all that, cat stew. I didn't even know you could do that, but in America, but
yeah,
apparently you can.
Yeah, I don't know where that rumor comes from, but it's not true. I mean, chicken is. I mean, no, I shouldn't even joke about the cost of chicken, but yeah, it's not true. It's in fact, the Asians have perfected how to please the American palate, and we do an excellent job. And all the goofy stuff of trying to save money and using raccoon or whatever, just it doesn't exist. That's silly. In fact, I think I just scared people by mentioning raccoon. But nevertheless, I'll send you the back chat our family restaurant. And again, the only reason I'm mentioning this isn't the big ball. It is to let you know that we just don't make money at it. But it's cash flow, and that's what Americans. Well, I think we understand. Even stuff that are very tight margins, you're swimming in cash flow, and that does speak. Banks love cash flow. They don't understand the business economics necessarily of what we do. But we pay our bills, but we don't get to keep all the money, obviously. Hence, tight margins and cash flow. But thank you very much for hearing me out, and I'm definitely gonna check out the links that Get Crack for me put as well.
Hey, cash is king, as they say, Master Kim. Cash is king. Yep. You can go a long way in business with cash. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate this show's kind of impromptu because I wanted to talk about the Pride Month. I just thought some of the stuff that was on display was just truly amazing. The fact that they're really going after the kids. And then I was just really interested to see how the Democrats are going to respond to Joe Biden, his performance in the debate. And I think we see now that they're just going to ignore it. And so look for Joe Biden on the ballot. I don't think they're going to replace him. Anyway, been a great chat. Thank you again, Master Kim, Get Crack, and all the guys in the panel. Maybe I'll see you online somewhere later today.
All right. See you, man.
Yeah. Thank you. See you. Yep.